It's a beautiful day today and a beautiful day for some more Reddit stories, and I hope you guys are excited. Chia is up here looking adorable and I'm sure she's ready for what we're going to read today, and let's get into it. Enjoy, guys. Am I the a-hole for being furious with my pregnant wife over a prank? 31 male. I've been with my wife Lisa since college and she's currently 7 months pregnant with her first baby. My wife Lisa is witty and likes to play jokes on me. For example, she likes to pass off fake facts and stories as real and then see if I'll believe them. Lisa was a theatre kid and so she's great at acting and selling these stories. I used to fall for her pranks all the time since I'm gullible, and she is so convincing. However, now that I've been with her for so many years, I can typically tell when she's messing with me. She's up the antics over the years too, and so she can occasionally get me to believe one of her jokes. Today when I got home from work, Lisa had tears in her eyes and told me that she needed to talk to me about something. I was seriously worried and I sat down with her immediately. I asked her what was wrong several different times and she kept saying that it was hard to talk about, and she was terrified that I'd leave her. I kept on pressing and she told me that she had an affair with her boss several months ago and wasn't sure if the baby was mine. Oh no, that's not funny. I asked if she was serious and she said that she was 100% serious and then started crying even harder. I got up, I started pacing and I tried to gather my thoughts. After a few minutes, Elisa burst into laughter and said that she was just joking. I was furious. I said that wasn't funny in the slightest to make jokes about cheating and the child not being mine. Lisa then said that she was a bit offended that I believed that specific prank and not several others. She said that she couldn't believe that I actually thought that she'd cheat on me. She then got teary and asked why I didn't trust her. Oh my God. It's exhausting to even read this. I asked her why I would trust her after she pulled that prank on me, was able to cry telling me about it, and then continued with the prank even though I was viably upset. Yeah, like if you're showing absolutely no signs of you joking, you're literally crying saying that you're 100% serious, why would your partner not believe you? Lisa said that it was harmless and I was blowing things way out of proportion. She continued to ask me why I didn't trust her. Why do you think OP doesn't trust you? OP doesn't even know if you're serious or not half the time. And then I told her I needed some space. I ended up going to a speakeasy and I've been away from the house ever since, even though Lisa has called me several times. I know that it was a prank, but I think this joke went way too far, especially with the tears. I also was clearly upset, as anybody would be, and she should have stopped it as soon as she realized that I was actually falling for it. Usually Lisa's jokes are funny, but this one really got to me for some reason. Am I the a-hole and am I overreacting? I do feel bad because she is very pregnant with my child, and I don't want to stress her out, but I need some space at the moment. No, you're not overreacting, OP. That is so wild. And to do that to you, taking you on an emotional roller coaster, and then to get upset at you afterwards as well because you don't trust her. Oh my God, so exhausting. Yeah, like this comment says, not the a-hole. The worst part about this to me isn't even the prank. It's after the prank she sees that you're upset, and instead of apologizing, she blames you for believing her and begins to question you. Also remember, she can make herself cry, so don't let tears fool you anymore. Yeah, that's such a good point. She owes you a huge apology, OP. What a joke. It is so gross that she did that to you and then got upset at you because you believed her when she was obviously upset and crying, and after she said that she was 100% serious. Oh, I'm sorry that I believed you. Like, why wouldn't OP believe you? And to top it off, to be like, oh, why don't you trust me? Can you seriously not figure that out? If OP doesn't know if you're ever telling the truth or not, it's going to be pretty hard for OP to trust you. Yeah, like this comment says, not the a-hole. Send her fake divorce papers and let her see how funny that is for her. Yeah, I cannot believe that she's angry at you. How dare you? You should be apologizing to OP. This comment says, your wife sounds like a psychopath. Who does that? And the gaslighting that came after. That's mental derangement that she thinks that's even funny. She needs help because that's some up shit. Also, get a paternity test. This comment says, was it a prank or was it the truth? And then she decided to backpedal and pretend it was a joke. This is not a joking matter, and now she's gaslighting you with the whole, how could you believe it? Not the a-hole, and to be honest, you underreacted. Yeah, and also like this comment said, she then got teary and asked why I didn't trust her. That's straight up manipulation and cruel. That's not a prank. That's somebody who's messed up in the head. How can you ever trust her again? I'd be filing for divorce and getting a custody agreement prepared. Yeah, it's emotional manipulation. Like, that's not a funny prank. And also, how would that ever be a funny prank? Who would ever react to that and be like, oh, you got me. That's hilarious how you made me feel like my whole life was crashing around me. That's so funny. I'm so happy that you didn't actually cheat on me. And I'm so happy that our child is actually my child. child. Of course I trust you. Yeah, why wouldn't I? Lisa sounds pretty terrible, OP. Like, that's so wild. Well, like, the prank is bad enough, but the reaction afterwards and getting upset at OP is even worse. Yeah, the emotional manipulation is wild. And like this comment says, if this is even real, not the a-hole, pranks should be funny. Emotional distress is not funny. Yeah, I can't believe what we just read. Chia can't believe it either. Oh my goodness, this is ridiculous. Post number 2 says, am I the a-hole for refusing to buy my sister a new wedding dress after I accidentally spilt wine on it? Here's what happened. My sister got married last weekend and I was her maid of honor. She'd been planning this wedding for over a year and I know it was a huge deal for her. During the reception, she asked me to help with a few things, including holding her wine glass, which is totally her. So I'm standing there with her wine when a cousin came up behind me and surprised me with a hug. Next thing I know, red wine spills all down the front of her dress. She was really upset and I felt awful. After the wedding, she called and asked me to cover the cost of a new dress or at least pay for cleaning. I get why she's upset, but it was an accident and I can't afford to replace it. Her dress was thousands of dollars and I'm saving up for a house. I offered to pay for the cleaning, but she says that it's not enough. Some family members think I should pay since I was holding the wine, while others think she's overreacting. I feel bad, but I'm not sure that I should be responsible for the full amount. Am I the a-hole for not agreeing to buy her a new dress? No, I don't feel like it. Like, is cleaning it gonna get rid of the stain? If getting it cleaned gets it out, why would you buy a new dress? Like, what a terrible waste of money. Yeah, of course they're overreacting. Why would you immediately replace the dress without even trying to get it cleaned first? Try and get it cleaned first and it'll probably be fine. But if you get it cleaned and for some reason it still doesn't come out, then you talk about getting a new dress because she can't wear this one. But don't immediately replace the dress if you don't have to. The top comment said, it feels like if anybody should, the cousin, right? Yeah, that's also a good point. Your cousin is the one who came up behind you and surprised you with a hug. The second top comment says, why exactly cleaning is not enough? It makes no sense to buy a new dress, not the a-hole. Yeah, why would you waste thousands of dollars buying a new dress if you can just clean this one? Of course that's stupid. There's no logic in that. Pay to get it cleaned. It'll probably be perfect again, but if it's not perfect and she can't use the dress, then figure something out, but don't immediately buy a new dress. Like, I just bought this new car and you got into my car and you spilt your drink in my car. Well, you better buy me a new car then. Like, that's just as stupid. Clean it. You don't need to replace it yet. And what does she mean that's not enough? What else does she want from you? It was an accident. And also, like the top comment said, feels like if anybody should, it should be the cousin. Yeah, you were just standing there, OP. I offered to pay for the cleaning, but she says that's not enough. Like, oh, I'm sorry, your majesty. How ridiculous. The next one says, am I the a-hole for not considering a name that's important to my parents and my husband's parents for our daughter? My husband and I had our first child together a week ago, and we chose a name that our families weren't thrilled about. Ren, for those who were going to ask. They didn't really say anything, but I know neither side loves nature-themed names. It was a couple of days after she was born that my parents told me they had the name Dorothy saved for a daughter after me, and when I was 2, they miscarried a baby and called her Dorothy in their hearts. They told me Dorothy would be a lovely name, and Dorothy Wren didn't sound terrible, so wouldn't that be a nice way to honor the baby who should have been my sibling? Yeah, right, okay, but it's not up to them. A couple of days later, my husband's parents and my parents told us they wanted us to consider the name Dorothy, and after discussing it, they realized that it had meaning on both sides. Wow, the disrespect. It's not up to your parents to name your child, and also Ren is a nice name. My in-laws were helped a lot by an old elderly neighbor when they first got married, and her name was Dorothy. Yeah, okay, who cares? And they always considered that name for a girl, but they had all boys. That's not your problem. Both sets of parents said that it was like a message being sent, and it would be the perfect name for our daughter. My husband reminded them that we'd already named our daughter, and she's Ren. The parents asked me to consider it, as the mum and I said no, that my husband and I chose the name that we feel is right for our daughter, and we have zero regrets. They told us back in their day you took your parents' and family's wishes on board when naming your children and followed conventions of the past. My husband actually argued with his parents because they don't speak to either of their first families, and they were estranged from them for their entire adult lives. But there was still a lot of pushback, and my parents said that it was hurtful that I wouldn't even consider it. It's hurtful that you won't bloody drop it. Oh my god, the parents are insufferable. This is not up to your parents. Oh, it's hurtful that you won't even consider it. It's hurtful that you're completely disrespecting them. They chose a perfectly fine name. Also, I feel like the name that they chose is a nicer name, but oh, I'm so sad that you're not letting us choose the name of your child. The audacity of the parents. And what the hell were the other parents talking about? Oh, we had an old elderly neighbor that helped us a lot when we got married, and her name was Dorothy. Who cares? That doesn't mean that you should name your daughter Dorothy. Plenty of people have nice neighbors. You don't have to name your child after them. That's hilarious. Yeah, like this comment says, not the a-hole. They sound exhausting. Since when does anybody except the parents get a say in a name? Yeah, it's annoying that they even feel like they have a say. Oh, that's so frustrating. This comment says, I'd say that your parents are not done grieving their miscarriage and they need to address this instead of seeing your lovely daughter as their second chance. Very good point. As to your in-laws, I suggest the best way to honor the great help that their Dorothy offered is to pay it forward. Yeah, you don't need to get OP to name their child after your neighbor. They do sound exhausting. They sound really exhausting. Like the fact that they even feel entitled to this. I feel like they feel like that they're owed it or something. And also, this isn't one of those posts where OP has named their child a super weird name. Ren is a nice name. Yeah, like this comment says, not the a-hole. Nobody but the parents gets a say in their own child's name. Yeah, end of story. It's really simple. It's not a group project. The parents choose their child's name and that's it. Wow, that one is so annoying. And also, like that other comment said, the parents are acting like this baby is their second chance. They told me Dorothy would be a lovely name and Dorothy Wren didn't sound terrible. So wouldn't that be a nice way to honor the baby who should have been my sibling? Yeah, this is not good. I feel like it says a lot about them that they even feel like they're entitled to this. Get out of here. You're not naming our child. Oh, back in my day, your parents' opinions mattered, or whatever they said, and the in-laws' connection to the name Dorothy is hilarious. Oh yeah, we had a neighbor that was really nice. Okay, I've met plenty of nice people. I don't have to name kids after them. No, you're definitely not in the wrong, OP. Okay, the next one is called, am I the a-hole for refusing to cancel a 2-year planned trip to attend my brother's last-minute wedding? I, 36 male, have been planning a big trip with my 2 best friends for over 2 years. The trip is set for January and it's a 3-week adventure in another country where we'll be celebrating New Year's together. I've been looking forward to this trip for ages and I talk about it often since it's a huge deal to me. My friends and I all worked hard to get the time off and save up and plan everything out, and honestly this is a bucket list kinda experience for us. Now the issue, my brother 32 male and his girlfriend, who've been dating for about a year and a half, recently announced that they're getting married. They planned it all pretty fast and they're having an intimate wedding with just close family and friends. They sent out invitations only 2 months ago in advance for a wedding that's in early January, right in the middle of my trip. To make things more complicated, my brother asked me to be his best man and give a speech. I was genuinely happy for him and politely reminded him that I wouldn't be able to attend because of this long planned trip. He knows all about it since I've been talking about it a lot out of excitement. He kept insisting though, saying that he needs me there and that being his best man is more important than a friend's trip. I understand that a wedding is a big deal and I do feel bad that I won't be there, but the timing is really tough. Cancelling this trip would let down my 2 best friends who aren't invited to the wedding as they're not friends with my brother, and it would also mean losing a ton of money. My family is split on this. Some think that my brother should understand, while others think I'm being selfish for not adjusting my plans for his big day. Am I the a-hole for sticking with my trip and not agreeing to be his best man? No, I don't feel like it, OP. Your brother has known about this for 2 years. It's a bit rough for your brother to be like, oh, okay, yeah, you know that trip that you planned? The trip that you've been talking about for ages that I know all about? Yeah, well, you can't go to that anymore because you're gonna have to come to my wedding. Like, come on, dude. The top comment says, not the a-hole. When we booked our wedding, the first thing that we did was check the date worked for our guests that were non-negotiable for us. You've got a long-standing commitment to your friends, and to back out means not only that you'd lose money, but so would they. Tell your brother you'd love to be there for him, but he was aware of your prior commitments, and they're set. If he needs you there so bad, he has the choice to move his wedding, or he can just accept that he screwed up. The second top comment says, not the a-hole. He's known about this trip for 2 years, and he's trying a power play. So unless he wants to rebook the trip at his expense and find a way to pay for you and your friends for the time that you've already taken off, then you can talk. Until then, he can have his last-minute wedding in May. This comment says, not the a-hole. You've had this trip planned longer than their relationship has been alive. Go on your trip. Brother can deal with it. Yeah, that's a hard one because of course you feel bad and of course you want to be there. But no, I don't feel like you're the a-hole, OP. Your brother knew the whole time that you were going to go on this trip. It's pretty rude for him to expect you to just cancel everything. No, I don't feel like you're in the wrong. The next one says, am I the a-hole for telling my sister-in-law that I've had 4 miscarriages when she said that I didn't understand her loss? Okay, so I haven't read this one yet. I'm not sure how hard this one is going to be to read. There are timestamps down below if you did want to skip this one. 34 female here. I'm married and a mama to a 1-year-old daughter. My husband and I actually had a very difficult time becoming parents. I've had 4 miscarriages, 4 before my daughter was born, but I'm honestly just so thankful that we have her. I don't typically speak about my fertility issues, and the only people who know about my miscarriages are my parents, my husband, and my 2 older sisters. My husband has a sister-in-law, 31 female, who we love dearly, but she tends to play the woe is me card and act like nobody else is struggling as much as her. She and her husband recently got pregnant, and about a month ago she had a miscarriage. She's been open about it on social media and at family events, and so I've reached out and expressed my condolences, and I've listened several times. I can tell that she is really struggling with this, and I genuinely do feel bad that she's suffering. On Saturday night, we went to my in-laws' house for dinner. My sister-in-law was talking about the miscarriage and how hard it's been. My little girl was sitting on my lap, but she was playing and obviously didn't understand what her aunt was talking about. At one point, my sister-in-law started crying, and my daughter noticed and got upset. She wanted to give my sister-in-law a kiss to make it better. She always does this when somebody is upset. I told my sister-in-law that my daughter wanted to give her a kiss, and she said no pretty harsh and looked annoyed. My daughter was confused, and I told her to give me a big kiss instead. My husband said that was rude since our daughter noticed that she was sad and just wanted to make her feel better. My sister-in-law then said that it's just hard that both of her parents have happy and healthy babies when her child is dead. She said that she loves her niece and is so happy that she's here, but she said that she and her husband haven't been blessed with a child yet. This deeply upset me because I can't believe that she'd be triggered by her own niece. I've never looked at my sister's kids or my brother-in-law's kids and felt anything besides joy that they were in the world. My sister-in-law must have noticed that I was uncomfortable because she proceeded to say that we couldn't possibly understand since we haven't ever lost a child. I probably should have kept my mouth shut, but that comment and assumption was the last straw. I told my sister-in-law that we do understand since I had 4 miscarriages. I said that it took years of trying before I brought my beautiful girl into the world. My mother-in-law, who's very kind and empathetic, hugged me and said that she was so sorry to hear that I'd struggle with that. My sister-in-law was shocked and asked why we never told anybody. I said I'm private. I wanted to process it on my own, and I've got a hard time talking about my own hardships because I know everybody else is going through stuff as well. Anyway, my husband told me that his sister called him and he's upset. She said that I was trying to compete with her. Oh my god, what? By saying that I had 4 miscarriages. She also said I was trying to make the conversation about me when her wounds are still fresh. She also commented that I was being passive-aggressive when I said everybody is going through things and that I was minimizing her loss. My husband was laughing when he told me, but I actually felt pretty guilty. Maybe it wasn't appropriate to bring up my miscarriages in that moment, but her comment really got under my skin. So am I the a-hole? I don't like the bit where it said my husband was laughing when he told me. Like, that's a bit whack, isn't it? This comment says it's never bothered you to be around children when you struggle with infertility, but that reality isn't true of everybody. Yeah, that's a good point. Your sister-in-law is upset because her brother has been able to have a child and she hasn't yet, and your daughter is a direct reminder of that. It is okay for that to be upsetting for her, even if it doesn't bother you. She's not resentful that your daughter exists. It's a painful reminder of what is so close and still very far away. Your sister-in-law is no saint, but it is understandable why she might not want a kiss from your daughter in that moment. She has a ways to go in turning it down gracefully. Yeah, that's a good point. It definitely seems like the consensus is not the a-hole. I'm seeing a few everybody sucks here sort of comments. This comment says, so my take is a little bit different from what a lot of people are saying here. Your sister-in-law just had her miscarriage and she's still very emotionally raw. She got upset and had big feelings, and that's okay. She didn't handle it well with your baby, and that's something that we can have compassion for. You say this deeply upset me because I can't believe that she'd be triggered by her own niece. This is understandable, but it isn't actually a great sentiment. She has the right to her feelings and to be triggered by what triggers her, regardless of what you think. That isn't something for you to criticize or judge her for, even though it is hard because the subject is so painful and raw. And I get it, you don't have to be perfect any more than she does. You had a knee-jerk reaction, but it was judgmental of her pain, perhaps especially because she is prone to woe is me shenanigans. I get it, but since you were already feeling critical of her for getting triggered by her own niece, and since she had just kind of been a turd to your precious baby, maybe we get it because we've had 4 miscarriages, did have the slightest edge to it. I don't know because I wasn't there, but I could see this as being nobody is the a-hole. Everybody deserves a little bit of grace here. Yeah, that is a good comment. Like, yeah, it's awful for everybody, and it's not a competition, and it should never be a competition. Okay, the next one says, am I the a-hole for putting chilies in my food when my roommate would not stop eating it? I live in a house with 5 other flatmates. I'm at war with one of my flatmates, Amy, as she constantly eats my meal prepped food. I live on a budget. I cannot afford to be frivolous with my expenses, so meal prepping and portioning my food when prices on meat and vegetables are constantly going higher is one way that I save money. Amy does not have this problem. She goes out clubbing every weekend and orders takeout every week. Amy has constantly been eating my food. I know this because she's messy and she leaves my containers in her room and on the table. I've told her multiple times to stop and she won't. This is where the chilies come in. I love spice. It's what puts color into my life and taste buds. So last week I put in my group chat, don't eat my food please. Amy doesn't look when I message anything in the chat because I'm always on her case. I also said that my food would have a lot of spice in it. They watched as I gleefully chopped and shredded jalapenos and red chilies into my carbonara. I may have cackled like a witch stirring a pot of poison. Not poisonous to me, as my friends watched me eat a bowl in front of them, and they had tears in their eyes from the fumes. So I packed everything up, I put it on my shelf, and I waited. The next day, I reminded everybody to not eat my food and left to uni. That night, I heard vomiting. See, Amy can't handle spice. She can barely have black pepper before she's running to the fridge to drink milk. Apparently, the deep red color or smell didn't deter her, and she ate quite a bit before the spice kicked in. She was sick for a few days. Thankfully, we have 2 bathrooms. I happily continued to eat my meals as she laid in bed. However, she called her boyfriend, who decided to get into my face about poisoning her. He said that I must have made the food rotten on purpose. I called BS, so I sat there and I ate it in front of him. He took one look and smelled it before he realized what had happened. He still claimed that I did it on purpose, knowing that she would eat it. I showed him the messages I wrote to say not to eat it. The paper on the lid's taped saying not to eat it because of the spice. He yelled profanities and stayed to care for Amy. He said that he'd sue me for poisoning her. Problem here is that the boyfriend's dad is a cop. I'm kinda crapping myself now. However, I still have classes to go to and a job to work to, so I'm carrying on. No police this far have come to me, and no law people giving me papers to say that I'm being sued. However, she has been sick for a few days and I feel bad for her missing uni when tests are around the corner. I just wanted her to learn her lesson and stop eating my food. Am I the a-hole for this prank when it's so close to the tests? No, OP, and how would they even sue you? And like this comment says, what prank? You cooked food for yourself. That's not a prank. Yeah, like maybe stop stealing my food. You've asked her so many times. The cops aren't gonna do anything. And what would her argument be anyway? She was not poisoned. Yeah, this comment, not the a-hole. She shouldn't be stealing from you. Yeah, I feel like this one's pretty simple. And I also feel like that's enough for today. That was such a fun episode, and I hope you guys had a good time today. If you did, make sure you let me know down below in the comment section. And I've got a really cute, wholesome meme to show you. I discovered a woman on Instagram who makes and sells mattresses for rats, and they have matching pajamas. The mattresses are called rattresses. This is her baby, Lord Duncan. How beautiful is that? Rattresses. And also, Lord Duncan is adorable. The beautiful little fluffy baby. I'm so happy in my matching pajamas and matching bed. So unbelievably cute. Thank you for watching, everybody. I hope you had a wonderful time today. If you did, make sure you subscribe if you want to. And the comment of the day goes to Lil Ketchup Bottle. Vincey, I'm a paramedic in a very busy city, and I have some days where I'm drained and emotionally exhausted. It's become a daily ritual to play your new daily videos on my long drive home to de-stress and laugh and see your beautiful cats. Thank you for being a consistent source of happiness for me, and thank you for what you do. That is such an awesome comment. Thank you for the comment, and thank you for the support. You made my day. That's so awesome. And thank you for watching the episodes. I'm so happy that they can be a source of happiness. That's definitely my goal with the episodes, even though we read terrifying sort of stuff. But to actually hear that is so cool. Thank you for that, and thank you for the support. And thank you all for the support, everybody. I'll see you in the next episode. Make sure you look after yourself, and make sure you have a beautiful, amazing rest of your day. And you know what I'm about to say because I say it every single day. Bye!